Alright, for those of you who are sensitive to gore or are just whiners, this video has gore, and if you are sensitive, do not watch. Click away now and do not report my video.
Alright, what is going on, guys? Gene Hall from GH Outdoors, and today I am going to show you all of my antler mounts and some previous deer that I've gotten or that my family has gotten, along with some of my rabbit hides. And I do have one rabbit mount that I did. It's not what you think it is. It's actually very strange. So to start out with, I have my smallest deer I've gotten, well, that I've mounted anyways, antler-wise. This deer I got on opening day of 2015, so about 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. But this is a small 4-point, but the body on it was pretty big. The plaque I made, or I didn't, the plaque I did not make, but I refinished it because it was a very light color and I did not like it. So this one was, I think, the second mount I did, just because if I messed it up, I didn't want to, like, it wasn't a big deer, so I didn't want to have to worry about losing trophy antlers. My second biggest, I have one bigger than, actually, technically two bigger than this, but this is my second biggest I shot. It is on a pine wood plaque that is actually roughly milled, and it is a 7-point deer. This was the biggest deer that we have seen on the property for years, and so I was determined to get this deer, and I shot at it. Well, I didn't shoot at it 8 times. I was hunting with my uncle, and us together shot at it about 8 times. I shot at it 3 times. No, I shot at it 4 times before it actually started moving. I think this deer had hearing problems, and it was pretty far away. And this was the first year using a bigger gun. I had a 3-point, so this was my third deer, and this was my second one. When I got this one, we were struggling for meat. So that's why I shot such a small deer. But this one was my second buck getting, and I got it when I finally dropped it. It was at 100 yards, but it started out at about 30, and the first 2 shots, I didn't come anywhere near hitting it because I think I was looking at the antlers instead of the body. And then the third shot was just over its back, and then my 4th shot was just under it. So then my uncle, who I was hunting with, tells me to hand him the gun, and so I did, and he missed it too. So then when he shot, it ran out to about maybe 50 yards, and I shot 2 more times at it, missed, and then it ran out to about 100 yards. And I shot once, the deer didn't move, so I thought maybe I hit it, and it just didn't fall yet. But then it started moving, and we made noises to get it to stop, and then I took my time to shoot it, and I dropped it with the 8th and final shot. A deadhead that I found, well, that my great uncle had found on his property. He doesn't hunt, so he didn't want the deer at the time, and so I took it, and this was my very first mount doing. It is made on actually 2 layers of pallet wood that I had just sandwiched together with glue, driftwood stain on it. These two have Ipswitch pine stain, and so this one has a driftwood stain with, and the cut, the way I cut out the antlers are actually different than how I cut these two out, because this was my first time doing it, and I thought that it would look cool, which it does, but when I molded the nose out of styrofoam, I used this quarter-inch sphere, or not quarter-inch, just pieces of a sphere that's cut in quarters. I just shape it to the end where it looks nice. I didn't get the shaping quite right, and it's a little bit uneven. But this is my first one again, and I really like the plaque for how big it is. So that's that one, and then that's my antlers that are plaqued. I have one more before I get into my squirrels and rabbits. This one is one that my dad got, which I plan on, hopefully he doesn't watch my videos, but I plan on getting I plan on mounting this one for him. This is his last year I got before I even started hunting. Or last year he got before I even started hunting. And then this one, actually I have a couple more, but this one my grandpa got, and my uncle gave it to me because he was going through some stuff that he didn't think he would survive, which he did, luckily. So he gave this to me because my grandpa got this in 1976, which would be about 43 to 44 years ago, depending on what time you're watching this. And it was in horrible condition because when he got it, it was not taken care of. It wasn't hanging up. It was just shoved into a pile of small antlers, because this is a 6-point, but it's not that big. Now, I got one more that my grandpa shot, and then I will show you the last one that I got. So this one is a 7, and it would almost be an 8, but because of this one is not big enough, or it broke off, it looks like. But I don't know when he got this one. When I got it, it was hanging outside in a tree for years, and so I tried cleaning it up as best as I could, but it still has a bee's nest in the brain and a bunch of other things. But I might clean this up, do a mount for it, but I'm not sure yet. I don't really have a story behind this one, just that it was hanging outside for a very long time. And onto the next antlers, which is my 10-point that I got this year just a couple days ago. Alright, so this is my buck from this year. It is probably about as big as my other one, like spread wise, but it is I'd say it was a 10. Some people may say it's a 9, because that one they may think it doesn't count as one, but it is 6 on one side and 4 on the other. But that one is probably my favorite just because it's an odd time. But I will blur this part out so you guys don't see that, just the antlers. But I'm going to have this one European mounted. I'll make the plaque for it myself, but just the skull will get whitened. And this one was actually a kind of like a birthday present. My uncle and I share the same birthdays, so and we planned on doing something for our birthdays, just we weren't able to get to it on our birthday. So about 2 weeks later we went out hunting, and I got this. And this is probably my the story isn't that exciting, but I like it. My biggest deer yet. So I'll see you guys back up at the house so we can go through the rabbits. This is my only squirrel I got. You may think it's a baby, but it's actually a red squirrel, or some people might call them ground squirrels. They are nasty. Uh, they will put nuts in anywhere they can put them. So in your car engines, or like will actually find ways into your house. The reason why I've been shooting these is, even though they're so cute, not really, but the reason why I've been shooting them is because I found 3 of them in my house. So every time I see them, because our cats don't hunt them because they're dumber. So every time I see them, I try to get them. And this guy I got yesterday, and he's actually going to be my first attempt to taxidermy an animal. But I won't be able to do a full body because this is going to be a little bit gory, the next part I show you. So if you want to just skip ahead. But the reason why I can't get him is because of the exit wound. Like right there is the entrance wound from a 22 long rifle, and because of the round I was using a hollow point. That is the exit wound. I cannot sew that up, so what I'm going to do is just take from the shoulders up and mount him like coming out of a tree trunk, and I'm going to take the back and use that as another squirrel to make it look like another squirrel. I'm going to use that going into a different hole in the same tree trunk, so kind of like the 2 squirrels are running around. So he actually is a beautiful color. These are red squirrels. Some people call fox squirrels red squirrels, but fox squirrels have really bushy tails. This one is pretty flat. It's pretty full too, but that's my squirrels. And now on to my rabbits, which I have to go inside and get those. So I got my rabbits. First one I am going to go over is this one. I recorded a video for this, but then I didn't post it and I ended up losing the footage for it. I got it all edited too, which kind of gets me frustrated. But I just skinned the head of the rabbit, took the ears off, and when I skinned it I took the tail off and cut the feet, and I used 20 gauge shotgun shells for that, for the caps on the feet, and I just hot glued them. This one needs to be cleaned up a little bit more, but it's in the back so you don't really notice. And this one is also on a piece of pine wood, I do believe, which has that Ipswitch pine stain, which I really like it because it gets like, I don't know, I just like it. But that is the last of the plaques. Next I'll go through my rabbit hides. This one is the first one I did. I still had to clean it up a little bit, but I didn't plan on tanning this hide because I just wanted to get the meat off the rabbit, so I didn't really take the time for it. So it wasn't, but this ended up turning out to be my best one. Like just hide wise, the fur I like. Just like the quality of the hide is a lot better, other than that little cut right there. But what I did was I left it out. Like, I did not freeze it, so I left it out overnight, so that way it would have some natural shrinkage. And then I put it on a board, a piece of plywood like this, and I just stapled each part of the points. I made sure it was tight, and I got it wet again, and then I put a mixture of borax and road salt to make it so it shrinks and stretches a little bit. That way, it's a little bit uh, more flexible. And then after that, I left that for about a week, and then I came back and uh, did egg yolks only, and I uh, rubbed the egg yolks in. Well, first I got it wet, like so it's a little bit moist again, and then I just patted it down. I didn't rub it down to get it dry. I just patted it down dry, and then I soaked or rubbed the egg yolks in it, which you can still see some of it, but that can actually just you can just peel it off, and it'll just right here. There's some egg yolk still left in it. You can just take that off, or you could probably just run like a butter knife up and down it, just scrape it. But this is just a test. All three of these were tests. The third one I'll probably actually use later on. But the next one I tried with no salt, and I did not let it dry overnight before I stretched it. I did a tube skin, so which is pretty much like you skin the rabbit and it comes out in a tube like that, and then it's obviously bigger, and then I put it over a 3-inch PVC pipe with the hide out, the fur in, and it turned out okay. It stretched pretty good, but it also is very noisy. I probably could do more to it, but just for learning purposes, I will leave it as it is. Then this next one is I actually tried skinning it like you're supposed to, and it turned out pretty good. It's still a little bit noisy, but I'm not done with it yet. I still gotta wipe it down. Um, the flushing, I missed a couple of pieces of fat on the edge, but those will probably get cut off. What I want to do, and you can see the entrance for the bullet right there. So that was the rabbit was like this, and my friend shot it right there. And he, with a 22, he is a perfect shot. With anything else, he's horrible. So that's the rabbits, and now for the part that I've been waiting for at least 2 days. I'm going to make some lunch with some deer heart from the deer that I got this year, that 10 point that you guys saw. So let's head on inside and cook up some deer heart.
Okay, so this part right here, I'm just cleaning it up. And when I first got the deer out of, or the heart out of the deer, I soaked it in uh, a salt water, warm salt water. You let it soak for about maybe half an hour, and then you put it in the fridge for 2 days. Let it sit in that salt water. And what you might be able to see it with the video sped up, I'm not sure, but the if you don't get all the air out of the heart, it will float, and it won't, like, there'll still be a spot in the heart where it'll be darker. That's fine to eat. It's just where the blood didn't get soaked out of the heart. And uh, right now I'm just trying to get all the fat off and cutting it down to friable sizes, because if you're frying it, the smaller pieces the better. And I'm just cutting it into pieces that I feel comfortable with, that I know I'm able to cook all the way through. All right, and then right here, when I fry it, I use I do three different types of flavors. I do just a regular pepper, and I do a garlic pepper, and then the last three or four pieces are just what's left of that uh, butter mix. I forgot to say that I used butter too to mix the uh, to cook the meat. All right, so if you guys enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see more of this review of my I'll do my weapons next. Like and comment on the video. And with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful week.